Hey guys, welcome back to Master J Skills. In today's videos, we will explore all the possible examples of a constructors in Java. Let's get started with the basic examples of constructor. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get all my updates. So let's get started with a basic example. Here I'm using an Eclipse editor for executing a Java program, and I'm using Java 8 with an Eclipse editor. So here I'm in the Eclipse editor. Let me open. These are already listed out all the possible constructor examples. Let me explain one by one. So how to create constructors that I'm describing in this program. So here I have created a student class. Here we have a student class with an private property called a name of a type string, and I'm creating a student constructors. You can see this is a no argument constructor, and I'm printing a message called a constructor called, and in the name I'm initializing it to Ram. So here how we can initialize our properties in the constructors. Okay, and how to call this student constructor with the help of new keyword. So whenever we create any object with a new keyword, the constructor will be called, and here I am printing the name whatever we have initialized. Let's analyze this and we'll see what exactly the output of this program. So it should print as a constructor called first, because first we are creating object with the help of constructor, and then it should print the name is Rama. So let's execute this program. So it's saying error exists in the required project. So here you can see copy constructor demo 1. So I made it wantedly some issue in this program. I'll to show you guys something. So anyways, let's proceed with it, and you can see constructor called, the name is Rama. So this is how we can create a constructors and how we can call the constructor. The next example is a no argument constructor with a private modifier, with a private access modifier. So here I have created a num demo with a property called a num, and here I'm creating a constructor and initializing this number to 5 and printing constructor is called, and this is how I have created and called this constructor, created object of a num demo and with the help of constructor, and printing the value of num. So let's run this program. So you can see that constructor is called first, it's print, and the value of the value of num is 5. So this is how we can create the no arguments constructor with a private modifier. So now let's see the public no arguments constructors example. This is a college demo. So here I have created a college class. Here I have given no arguments constructor with a public access specifier, and here I am creating a college object with the help of new keyword where it's being called the constructor itself, and printing the college name. So this is quite simple. I'm just using public access specifier instead of a private, as we have saw in the num demo. So let's run this program. It should print the college. This is what the output of this program. So now let's see parameterized constructor example. Here I have an employee programming language class where I have given a language's name, and here this is the constructor of this class, and just assigning here this constructor has a parameter where it will get the value uh, from the client, and it is assigning to this language, and here I am printing that particular language. Okay, and I am creating three objects, that is object 1, object 2, object 3 for this, and calling three times this employee constructor. Let's run this program. So Java, C++, C, these are the programs, and three times I'm creating an object of an employee programming language, and three times it's being called. So this is how we can have the parameterized constructor. So now let's see default constructor. Okay, now let's see the default constructor example. You can see I'm not having any constructor, no arguments constructor in the default constructor class. So but still I'm creating an object of this particular class. So this is the constructor this is the constructor being called from the compiler, or compiler will add this default constructor to our default constructor dot class file. So let's and it's just an assigning value. So there is an it's not initialized any value for a and b, but still it should print a default values as a 0 and false. So let's execute this program. So you can see default values 0 and false. So integer default value is 0 and boolean default value is false. So this is how the compiler will add the default constructor to the object which is being created. So this is about the default constructor. Now let's see the constructor overloading example. So you can see constructor overloading means more than one parameters. So you can see the language here, this is the no arguments, and here I am passing an argument. So let's take one more argument just for passing one more, like I'll be taking this constructor and I'll put it here, and string name, and here this dot name equals to name. So just to make more clarity on this example, I have added one more constructor. This is to show how the constructor overloading will be used. So this is a no arguments. There is a 0 arguments. In the second constructor, it has a 1 argument, one parameter, and the third we have a two parameters. So let me create one more object. So 3, and let me call this obj 3 dot get name. And so this is how we can overload the constructors. So let's execute this one. Sorry, here I have to give value. So let's execute this program. Here you can see, let's execute this program, and you can see the first constructor is the default constructor, and it is passing only one 0 arguments. So there itself it is initialized, the value is initialized, so language equals to Java. So again the next is one parameter, that is language, so passing the language, and the other thing is null because it's calling the this is how it looks, but actually there is a one thing. Whenever we have a more parameters with a same type, so it will always prefer to get this one. So whenever we have that, then it will go from higher parameters to lower parameters, and it will just look like return type and order, everything it will look, and it will call this one only. So that's why these nulls are printing. Okay, so this is how the overloading will work. So this is about the constructor overloading we can implement like this. And let's see one more simple example, as the default constructor will display the default values. So here I don't have any constructor in my student1 class, so it means that compiler is going to add the default constructor to the class student1. So in that case, so the id and name should have a default values, that is int id's value will be 0 and string's name will be null. So let's execute this. So you can see this is the output of this program. So that is how we can have a default constructor with the default values. See the constructor chaining demo. This is how the constructor chaining will be implemented. So here you can see that constructor chaining demo, I have 1, 2 and three different constructor. The three constructor with different parameters, 2 parameters, 1 parameter and 0 parameters. So this is how already I have told you in the last example, like it will first look into the first it will look in the more number of parameters with a type of parameters. So I have three constructor with the different parameters, and here I am calling this constructor like constructor chain demo. This is a default no argument constructor. So once it is called, I am just calling the immediate constructor to chain the constructor. So immediate constructor is this one with a one parameter that is passing 5. So it will call this constructor, and there itself I am calling another immediate constructor, that is this of 5 and 15, means two argument parameters constructor, immediate constructor I am calling. So this is being called, and first it will print this and then this and then this. So this is how the constructor chaining will happen. So let's execute this. So you can see that first it is not, I am calling here the default constructor, so it is not printing this statement, but it is instead it is calling this constructor, and this constructor is calling the immediate next constructor. So here it is printing 5 into 15, 75, and then it is printing only this one what I have sent as 5. So it's printing 5, then it is printing the default constructor. So this is how the constructor chaining will be implemented in our. So another example is the order we will see. Here we can have an constructor chaining with an order. So here I am giving a constructor demo with a 2 parameters. It will be called this one, and I am calling a constructor with a 1 parameter, and the 1 parameter will be called default constructor. Let's see how will be the output of this program. You can see, so here first I have called this one, and then this constructor called again the default no parameterized constructor. So it is called first default, then it is printing 5, and then it is printing this value 80. 8 into 10, 80. So this is how the order will work. So this is as we have already discussed, constructor chaining can be done within the same class or in the base class. These two examples we have saw in the same class. Let's see how it is used in the inheritance concept. So let's see constructor chaining derived class, constructor chaining superclass. So let's first see the superclass class. So it has a one property, that is a name of type string, and one constructor, one no argument constructor with the empty this. Here it is calling another constructor, the same class constructor with a one parameter, that is name. So it is, this constructor is calling this one. So this is about the superclass. Next, let's see the derived class or the child class. So here also it has a one parameter constructor where it is calling super of name. So this is used to call a superclass constructor with an single argument, means it will call this so this super will call this constructor superclass constructor. So this is how the constructor chaining will work in the inheritance. So to call in the same class, the constructor to call in the same class, or to achieve the constructor chaining in the same class, we are using this operator. And to achieve this constructor chaining in the inheritance concept, we are using super keyword. So let's execute this. So you can see a constructor from the derived class test, it is printed like test I'm passing. So it is being called this class, and here it should print a calling parameterized derived class, but it is internally calling superclass constructor. So this will be printed and then this will be printed. So this is how we can achieve the constructor chaining in the base class or the derived base class or the inheritance concept. Let's see the copy constructor example. Here you can see the copy constructor demo, and I have a copy constructor class which has two properties, that is number 1 and 2 of type double. And here you can see a constructor with two arguments. I am passing the same class into the another constructor. So this is one way of achieving the copy constructor. Copy the value of a one object to the another object. So these all are set a getter, and you can see in the demo class I am creating this copy constructor class with 10 and 15, means it is called this constructor. So I am printing those values, and I am creating next one more object and passing this first object to this one. So these values, whatever the number 10 and 15 of object, this will be copied to object 2. So it should print same. Number 1 10 and number 2 is a 15 for object 1, and 10 and 15 number 1 10 and number 2 is 15 for object 2. So let's execute this. So you can see number 1 10 and 15. After invoking the copy constructor, again it's same. So it means that it has copied the value of object 1 to object 2. This is how we can achieve in a one way we can achieve the copy constructor in Java. So now let's see another example of a copy constructor. Here you can see there is a class called a fruit, price and name. Some fruit, price and name, and this is a constructor with the two parameters, that is a price and name, and second is a fruit of type fruit. So I'm sending so here we are passing the fruit itself to this constructor. So this is to show the price and to show the name. So now let's see this how we can call. So here I am calling this particular constructor with a price and name of a fruit, and here it's showing both of them, and again I am sending fruit f1 to f2. F1 object will F1 object value will be copied to f2. So now let's execute this program. So you can see apple 300 after invoking copy constructor, again apple 300. So this is how we can this is how we can achieve the copy constructor. So here I have kept one thing, like, so I have this constructor is defined in this copy constructor class, but not this one. So this is not possible. That's why it is telling is undefined. So until and unless we pass this particular class object into the constructor, then this issue will not get resolved. So this is an issue. So this is how we have to achieve the copy constructor. Yeah, that's all about these programs. Let's recall all of the examples. So here I have created the student constructor, and we are calling it with a new keyword. So this is one example we have saw, and no argument we have saw private no argument constructor example. This is how we have created, and we have called this one. And this is the public no argument constructor, and here you have a constructor, and that is being called over here. So next is parameterized constructor. So here we can have a parameterized constructor like this. We are passing some parameters to this employee programming language constructor, and we are calling all of them like this. Okay, and the next is default constructor. So the default constructor we are not adding here, so compiler will add our default constructor. So here without adding here, it is being called. So next is constructor overloading. You can see the constructor overloading is achieved over here. So I have modified while showing in the example. So I have kept only two of them, and I have added two parameters constructor as well in the last example in the Eclipse editor. And here we are calling the overloading methods. And the next is default constructor that displays the default value. So default constructor, this is the default constructor, and which is displaying a default values. Okay, and the next is constructor chaining within the same class using this keyword. So to achieve the constructor chaining within the same class, we are using this keyword. You can see this is the one. So this keyword is used to call this. So you can see this output. And order also we have saw, and this is the order of this is the order. Like first it will be calling two parameters, this internally calls this, and this will call this. So this is the output. So constructor chaining in other class. So the constructor chaining in other class using this super keyword. So you can see there are two constructors. This is the one constructor, and this is the another constructor where I have super. So it will call this constructor, and then it will print the child one. So this is the chaining in other class, and using this keyword order. This one we have already saw. And the copy constructor. So the copy constructor will, how it works is the same fruit class I'm sending into the constructor fruit. So this is how we can copy from one constructor to the another constructor. Next is copy constructor. Another example is it's similar. So this is, you can go through, this is completely similar to the fruit example. And the copy constructor where I didn't add it, this is how we can add it. If we don't add, then it will here I have added it, but I didn't define, so obviously it has an error. So that's all about all the possible examples I have covered in this video. If you still have any of the questions, or if you still feel I'm missing some examples, please drop in the comment box. I'll come up with all the remaining concepts or the examples of a constructors in another video. So If you still have any doubts or if you still confused about any of the example, drop it in the comment box. I'll be happy to answer all of you guys. So if you really feel this video is helpful, please like this video and share with your friend. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get all my latest updates of my videos. And thanks again for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.